Much love. I'm Wayne Johnson with Doc and Queen Ministries. Got a lesson that I want to share with you. Something that just hit my heart today to share. It's definitely about men and younger men and the connection that men can have for those who are younger and some of the things that they need. And many times you may not even recognize the role you play as a male to someone younger and how you can be a big motivating factor in their life, mentor in their life, just someone that they can look up to and hope to be at some point. So you got to understand this. So I'm going to share with some experience that I've had, in particular with 4 young people that I deal with on a weekly basis. And so I want to share this with you today. I was led to do this, so I feel good about sharing it. Of course, I won't use no names. I'm just going to share with you my experience with them. With that being said, also though, go out to Amazon, purchase my book, Every Child Deserves a Father. And basically the story I'm going to share with you today about 4 young men that I have touched their lives. Go out and purchase this. And then on top of that, it's deeper for me now than even when I wrote this book, Every Child Deserves a Father. Again, can be found on Amazon. Make sure that you go out and purchase that. I think you will enjoy it. We definitely, as fathers, but even for those who are mother, can understand the role that men can play in other young men's life at this point, boys' lives. And really, I'm noticing the younger we can get them, the better. And men, we can do it. They connect to us. So, I want to share with you one of the first young men that I'm going to speak on. Now, this particular young man, and he's still a boy. I think he's in elementary school, but he has special needs, and special needs not to downplay when we talk about special needs, because everyone is still important. But when I first met and had the opportunity to work with this young boy, being autistic, pretty much nonverbal, he early on, when I would have to get him, he would kick, he would fight, he would strike, and it just was a difficult process. He was not easy to handle. But over the years, he has become so much attached to me. And you got to understand, I don't see him that very much, but the little times make a difference. When he was going off, I still tried to be kind, loving, and show passion for him with the struggles that he may have, with the difficulties for him to communicate. Of course, a lot of special needs kids, quote unquote autistic in this case, there are a lot of things they like, and many times they like food, they like drink, and the things like that. But you don't want to get into so much bribing them to try to get them to do so. None of that. You want to be firm, but you also want to show them that you care, compassion. It's not like an iron fist when I grew up. Many fathers were able to do. The thought process today is a little bit different. Yes, kids should fear their parents or those older, only because we're supposed to fear God, who is definitely older than us and the creator of us. But not fear in a way that they're scared. Just more fear and reverence to us that we're just older than them. And from an elderly standpoint, give us what's due to us just because we're older than them. So I kind of try to carry it like that. And so over the years, what has happened is he's formed a bond that I didn't even realize. I remember taking him one time at the end of the school year, and the last day I dropped him off at a daycare and just dropped him off like I normally do. And one of the daycare workers said, "Why does he get out of the car so easy for you? When the ladies bring him, they have a difficult time getting him out." And the first thing I answered was, well, I just say, it's time to get out. I open the door, it's time to get out. And he pretty much comes. And it's nothing that I feel like I've done special. But clearly over time, and I think being a male, other boys, they gravitate to us and we don't even recognize that they're doing so. So, that being said, he always just gets out of the car for the most part for me. There's never really no struggle. I mean, there may be a little struggle sometimes because we're dealing with a quote-unquote a special needs kid, but nothing that ever takes any real amount of time. But one of the last times that I dropped him off, he just held on to me and didn't want me to go. And like I said, all I'm really doing is taking him from point A to point B, but every once in a while, just your voice tone, showing that you care, asking him questions, and doing something as small as waving bye when we leave, or whatever the case. So that's the first young man that I had to discuss and deal with. Now, I want to give you a scripture verse just so we can keep this biblical. Now, I'm going to be coming from Titus chapter 2, and I'm going to read verse 6 through 8. And it reads, "In the same way, tell the young men to be wise. You should be an example for them in every way by the good things you do. When you teach, be honest and serious. And your teaching should be clearly right so that you cannot be criticized. Then anyone who is against you will be ashamed. There will not be anything bad they can say about us." So you got to also understand with this first particular boy that I'm speaking of, there were times that I would have to pull over to the side and put his seatbelt back on him. There were times that I would have to be careful because he would be kicking early on, sitting in the back, kicking, and I didn't want to make sure he didn't hit the gear, and then we would have been in trouble. So it took a while, but once you get there, how the development and the closeness and the respectful of love and the bond that we share just seems to be magnificent. And like I said, didn't really deal with him a whole lot. I even remember times that I had to change him, or when I had to take him to the water park where he played in the water. These are not things easy to do, but the great thing about it is, as you develop as a man, young boys will learn to respect you, even to the point if they have special needs. Now, the next kid that comes to mind, also pretty much the same situation, just a different kid. And earlier on, This one would kind of do some of the same things. He wouldn't do the kicking or anything like that, but he constantly tried to open the door. He would constantly take off his seatbelt, and you would have to pull over to the side, and you want to say it kind of in a stern way. Don't take that seatbelt off no more. But you might have to pull over the side and do it. But you still, at the end of the day, you want to show them love and compassion. You want to show them that you care. It's not so much about, it's all about me. It's all about me. I'm the authority figure. I'm the one in control, and you're going to do as I say. So, again, in this situation, now, this particular young boy, same thing. Had to pick him up maybe about 2 weeks ago from the daycare. And one of the workers said, well, when he's in the balls, we don't mess with him. We just let him do what he do as long as he want to do it. So I come in, it's time to go. And the first thing I do is I walk in, I call his name, and immediately, I didn't have to do anything. Immediately, he just walked out, came with me, and we went where we had to go. Also, I think what really struck me to do this on tonight was I picked him up again today. And he's kind of like in this little box hut with the staff phone looking at videos. And I get there and I say, such and such, it's time to go. And he immediately came out, gave her back the phone, and was ready to go. And so as we driving, I don't do a whole lot, but from time to time I may say something and how you doing and how's everything going. And you know, he may give me a little thumbs up from time to time, and he may laugh and joke about different things, and I'll try to kind of tickle him maybe when we stop at a stoplight. But again, the bond is there. Once you get that bond as a man, you have that young man even to the point of special needs, because kids, in particular boys, are looking for that bond with an older male. So with fathers, you really need to do that with your children or child, especially if it's another male. And I know it's different because there's more time you with them. You got to be a little bit harder. You got to make sure it goes, and you don't have as much time. And I know with them, being that they don't get to see me as much, there's probably that extra specialness because we're not always seeing each other on a daily basis. But that's another kid. And it's just interesting. All I got to do is show up, call his name, and even if he's enjoying what he is doing, he lets it go, and boom, that's it. He just goes and follows me, and we go on about our way. The next kid, he's a little young, not special needs, but he's another kid that, you know, I've been picking up for a while, from here, from there, taking them here, there, doing a little stuff, not spending much time with, maybe see him once a week, sometimes once every 2 weeks. But it was interesting when I talked to the person that he was staying with. They said, he just talks about you all the time. What are y'all doing? And it just kind of blew my mind, because I'm like, well, all I do is pick him up, put him in the seat, drive. I mean, I may say something here or there, but for the most part, he falls out, goes to sleep before we get from point A to point B. And I'm like, there's nothing really special that I'm doing. But clearly, it is something special to these kids. These boys have a connection, just feeling value, even if it's small and minute. We as men have power to influence these young men, even when they are young boys, even if to the point that they have special needs. So that was just interesting, because he say all these things about me and talk about me, and we may spend, 30 minutes every week to every 2 weeks with very little communication. I mean, some, but nothing that one would say is significant. The last one I want to talk about, this particular kid early on, it just said that this was going to be rough. This was going to be rough. This is going to be tough. You're going to have a hard time with this one. And it hasn't been that. It has been anything but that. It just clicked from day one. This one, he loves Spider-Man. And one of the biggest things is he really likes watching Spider-Man on my phone. Yes, he may have his own tablet, but if I show up, he's going to put down his tablet, want to use my phone, and watch Spider-Man. Now, what's also interesting is, and I've seen other kids do this, when they have your phone and a text come in, they'll just scroll past it so they can keep on going. But even with this particular one, and I believe he's the youngest out of them all, even when we go to different places, let's say McDonald's, and go to the playground room, he still every once in a while is going to check back with me. And even when he's upset and mad, he's able to sit there or stand there and listen to me and follow the directions. It's something about the bond from males to males, and we need that back again. And this is just a proof of me writing Every Child Deserves a Father. This is like the proof after writing the book, how important it still is. I remember when I was growing up, wanting the bond for my dad, and he was there. However, I wanted to do so much more, but just him being in the house still went a long ways. Yes, we did some things from time to time, but still not nearly as enough as I wanted it to be. So I'm just saying, men, you make a difference in young men's life, even if you don't know. If you just treat them with respect, kindness, and the right and proper authority, they're going to value that. It's so important. It warms my heart to know that I have made a difference in these 4 that I'm thinking about lives. Now, I've dealt with a lot of kids throughout, but I really taken notice lately about these particular 4. With that, it's just interesting. But let us get on it. Let us be an example. We don't have to scream. We don't have to be irate. We can show them love. Yes, it may not always start out easy in the beginning, but with love, kind, and genuine care, you're going to get there pretty much real quick. I've even done it, like I said, with those who, quote unquote, have special needs. So we can make a difference in young people's lives. Take care. God bless. And once again, much love.